Hi guys, yeah, welcome once again to my channel. This is your favorite coach, Coach Ola. On this channel, we showcase different projects around data analysis, data science, and data engineering. We also give resources, we also share techniques and different roadmap you can how to get started with data analysis or data science or data engineer as well. So today I'm going to be sharing my little knowledge on how you can work with these Dockerized Olist datasets. So mind you, I'm not teaching you how to Dockerize the Olist datasets, right? Don't be disappointed. But we are going to be doing something interesting. So today we are going to be seeing how to run a container on this Dockerized Olist dataset. So what happened is this. After coming across this Olist dataset online, my intention was just to go ahead and analyze it. And then while transforming it, obviously, whenever we have to work on a project, it's important that you transform that particular data set to increase the quality of the data set before you move ahead to analyzing it. So while transforming that data set, it took some time and there's some little and then some crazy techniques as well to be able to clean and transform that data. And I just thought of it and said, okay, what if we dockerize this whole list data set? I mean, the transform whole list data set so that if others want to use it, either as a data analyst or a data scientist who want to use this data set, you don't need to what to bother about transforming it. Is that not interesting? Yeah, so that is the idea about this project. And the importance of you doing such things is that if you have this kind of data, which has been print transformed and dockerized, so it saves a lot of time within a team. You get. So that means each and every part of the member of the team doesn't have to be transforming the data. And since the data is already the Dockerized form, and one thing that is also enabled that it enables productivities and collaboration within the organization. So we are so sure that everybody in the team are working with the same kind of data. So and that is the goal. You understand? Just to make things easier to increase the productivity of the team so they can just focus on the what on the analytical side of things so they don't have to bother about transforming that data set. So that is what this project is all about. For you to be able to follow along on this project, you need an understanding, at least fundamental understanding of what Docker is, and you also need a fundamental understanding about what PostgreSQL is. So in this video, I'm not going to be teaching you, or I'm not going to be focusing on how to use Docker or what is Docker, and the same thing as PostgreSQL. But if you need me to talk about this, if you need me to make a video on this, kindly drop a comment for me in the comment section, and I'll definitely make a video on that. So follow me along. All right. So this is what the database look like, or the data sets look like. So this data set has different set of tables. We have the order reviews, we have the orders data set itself, you have the other customers, you have the orders payments, you have the product, you have the other items, we have sellers data, we have the jurisdiction data, and as you can see, each of these data are related all together. So which means this is a relational database, as you can see. So we all have all of them being related, right? And the second part of this data set is the marketing model data set. So this marketing funnel data set is a different kind of data set that focus on the finance. So we can focus on these guys as well. So by joining the two of them together, so whenever you are making your analysis, you can easily make an analysis around the marketing and at the same time around the what e-commerce side of the data, right? Okay, so now let's dive into the demo. Remember, to be able to follow along with this video, you need to install Docker on your system. You need to install Docker on your system. Just search online and say how to install Docker on your system. The same thing, you have to have PostgreSQL on your system. And if you like, we have dbeaver, is good. So I use dbeaver. So I'm going to be using this interface, this DBMS, to interact with my database. All right, so let's get into this and see how this will be in action. All right, stay tuned and follow me. Okay, yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. This is your favorite coach, Coach Ola. So still on the Dockerized Olist dataset. This is what the datasets look like. So this is me right on Kaggle. And you can see the Brazilian e-commerce public data set by Olist. This is an e-commerce data set that has over 100,000 orders with products, with customers information and then review informations. So you can check the link in the comments in my description. I'm going to drop the link to this cargo so that you can actually look at this data set and see for yourself. And the second data set, as I mentioned, is the marketing funnel by Olist as well. So this has to do with a marketing data set from different sellers within the store. So these two data are what I'm going to be dockerizing. So it has been transformed using Python and its library. So this data set is what we are going to be using. So already I've dockerized this data set. For those of us that are familiar with Docker Hub, and if you are not familiar with Docker Hub, so Docker Hub is a repository that you can actually find different Docker images. So let me give us a little bit understanding about what Docker is. So the way it works is this. So whenever you build an application on your system locally, doing development, you build an application on your system. So this application is going to be built with different dependencies and requirements. So the dependencies are like what and what does this application need to be able to run fine. So sometimes you have different dependencies like the libraries, most especially the operating systems. So when you are done building this project locally in your system, by the time you want to ship this project or this particular application to another environment, probably the production environment. So whenever you take this project to the production environment, there is need for the production environment as well to satisfy everything it needs for this particular project or this particular app to run on that particular server. So sometimes, for example, if I'm building an application on my system and you are using Windows and you are deploying to a server which is using what Linux, so you can see that the operating system differs. So with developers now tends to get issues like it's working on my system, it's not working on the production environment. So that's one of the things that Docker solve. So if it works on your system locally with Docker, it can also work on any other platform because you are going to be wrapping all the app and all the dependencies of that particular project into what we call an image. So by the time you wrap all of them together, so whenever you run that particular image as a container on any server or any environment, you are sure that this particular project is going to run. So that way, that is a simple introduction into what an image is and what a container is. So what I have done is that look at this Docker Hub. This Docker Hub is a repository. Uh, so you can see different official images, you can see Python. So which means that without even me installing Python on my system, if I pull any of this Docker image, I can have those application on my system running like my SQL, Postgres as well, as you can see. All right, but that is not the topic for today. So I'm going to be searching for that particular image which I have deployed to the Docker Hub, and the name is Ola, and I call it Olist clean data. All right. So as you can see, this was updated just today. That's 3 hours ago. All right, so this is a clean data of the Brazilian e-commerce public data and the marketing funnel all together. So you can read about what the data is, how to use the image, and how to log into this particular container once you have pulled the image. So we are going to be looking at all these together. All right, so one thing that you must have installed on your system is Docker. So you can easily go online and search for Docker. Okay, you can just type Docker install or Docker download, whatever the case may be. So you see, gets you to this website, and you can see you can install Docker desktop for Linux, for Mac OS, and then for Windows. So kindly check online for how to install uh, this Docker desktop on any of your operating system. All right, so let's get into it. So what we need to do now, this particular clean data, the transform data has been Dockerized already, and the images has been published online. So which means that everybody have access to this because it's a public repository. So let me show you, let me demo to you how you can put this image and run a container on it. So the guideline is already there. The first thing you have to do is to pull this particular image. You can see to pull the image, you just need docker pull. So the name of the image is Ola, then the name of the image itself is Olist clean data, and you have to add the tag to it. So the tag I have here for now is just, I think I only have one tag, which is version 0.01, as you can see. So let's copy this URL, docker pull. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to my can open your terminal to do this. And as you can see, I've also run my Docker desktop. My Docker desktop is running as well. So this must be running for the Docker command to be able to work. So on my terminal, I'm going to paste that command. As you can see, docker pull ola olist, then clean data, then version 0.01. All right, I'm going to run this, and this is going to check my system first if this image is available. And as you can see, because obviously I created the image, so the image is available on my system. For those of us that are running this for the first time, if the image is not available on your system, you see that it's going to download different layers of this particular Docker image, and this might take some little time to be able to install everything. But once you are done on your Docker desktop, you come to your images. Just here, you'll be able to see the list of all the images, and you can see this particular image, which is Ola Olist clean data, as you can see here. So this is the particular image. So this was created 4 hours ago. So once you have the image, the next thing now is to what is to run a container from the image. So the first step is to put that particular image from the Docker hub. The next thing is to what is to run a Docker container. So the Docker container is a running instance of the Docker image. So our advice is just copy this, and let's go ahead and paste this right here. Or before you do that, let me check Docker images. You can run a command that says Docker images, so you can see the list of all the images you have. So directly on the command prompt as well, as you can see it on the Docker desktop too. All right, let's clear that screen. So that's one of the commands you use often, Docker images. All right, so now let's run a Docker container. I'm going to be making some changes to this. Let me try and increase this a little bit so it will be easier. So I'm going to explain what this command does, one after the other. As you can see, the command stands with docker run, so which means I want to run a Docker container. Then you have to give the container name right here. So the container name can be anything. Let me give it Olist, maybe Olist container. So let me say Olist CONT. Now the -p means publish, so that means I'm going to be publishing this particular Postgres database to run in a particular port. The first port you are seeing there is going to be my local port, that means my host port, where it is going to be running on my system. The other one here is 5432. It must be 5432 because that's the container port. And then I'm going to be creating a volume for my data. As you can see, that's where the -v, then your volume. These two can also be anything. Then to my main, so this one has to be like this, so you cannot change this, but you can change this to whatever you want to name your volume as. Then the name of the image that you want to run a container on. So this is the name of the image. So basically, to run the container, we only just need docker run. Optionally, you can name the container so that when this container run, it doesn't just generate a random number for our container. Then the dash p is to publish our container to match our host port to our container port. Then we also create a volume for our data, for persistent data, and then we specify the image in which you are creating the container from. So I know this might be a little bit to take in if this is your first time of seeing this, but remember, if you need a more detailed video on what is container on and how you can use a container, kindly let me know in the comment section. All right, I'm going to hit enter here, and I get a little error. So let's see why this is happening. Oh, okay. So the issue we have right here is I'm actually running my image. So the image I provide there is actually wrong. As you can see, my image is meant to be Ola/Olist clean data. So we have to include that my username there because that is what the image is. So I'm going to say Ola slash. All right, so that is very, very important. So the image name has to be found right now. So I'll go ahead and hit enter again. All right, as you can see, so this is the image running now. So the container, you can see, is going to create my database and also going to provision, is going to initiate my database with some schema. The schemas are what I've defined when I was building this particular image, so you don't have to worry much about that, but basically just understand that it's creating some tables, some schemas, and it's also copying the data, which is those data we downloaded from Cargo. So, and when this is ready, you can see database system is ready for connection. So that means our database is ready for connection. So nothing went wrong. So right now we can now check. Let's log in into this particular database using this particular credentials that was provided. So the name of the user to our database is Olist user, the password is Olist password, and the database is Olist ecommerce. So there are several ways you can go into this particular database. You can do that from your Docker, you can do that from your terminal, you can as well do that from your DBMS. But let me do that from my terminal first. So I'm going to open a new terminal. I'm going to say open a new terminal in tab. All right. So if you want to see the container that is running, you can say what? Docker container ps. Now you can see that a particular container is up and running right now. So we bash into this container. Let's bash into the container by using a command called docker exec-it. Then you copy the name or the ID of the container, which is this. Then you say bash. So this bash into the container, docker exec space dash it. You copy the container ID, which is this number here, and then you bash into the container. Then you see we're inside the container. If you do ls, you see that there are list of files inside this particular container. You don't have to worry about this, but just know that this particular all this folder here take the details and information about your database. So what we want to do right now, now that I've bashed into the container, let's log in into our database by using the credentials. So you can do that by saying psql-u. You give the name of the user, which is olist underscore user, and then you give the name of the database. The U has to be capital U, the D is small d. So the name of the database is olist underscore ecommerce. All right. just like this. Then I hit enter. As you can see, I'm now inside the what? I'm inside the database Olist e-commerce. You can verify that you are there by checking, use some command to check your database users. You can say I have one database user. At the same time, you can also check all the schemas that has been created so far, as you can see. So I have three schema. So the public schema is the public schema, but the schema I'm using is one for to store my e-commerce data. I want to store uh, my marketing data set. So let's clear the terminal and then write some query to query some data from this database. So I'm going to say clear to clear. Okay, I think I can use clear right here. All right, so let's go ahead and write our select statements. I'll say select. So I'm going to say select all from. So for those of us that are familiar with SQL, so this is a SQL statement. But if you aren't familiar with SQL statements, you also want to find more about it, and if you need me to make a video on that as well, can you let me know in the comment section? All right, so we are just going to write a simple query. So then my schema e-commerce, and inside the e-commerce we have a table there called customers, and I'm going to limit my record to 5. So just to see that we have data. All right, I think I have to type that again. Select star from e-commerce, then customers, which is the name of my table, then limit my result to 5. All right, as you can see, so we have the data, which I can expand this a little bit. All right, I think I can do that. All right, so what you can see, so the informations are right in the data. So the idea about this project now is that the data has been transformed already and has been Dockerized. So for any data analyst or a data scientist who actually want to write some queries on this, so you don't have to worry about transforming it. All you just have to do is to put the images, then run a container, just you have run a container, then connect to this database and you'll be able to write your SQL command to make some analysis. You get? So for those that know how to use their Python, so you can use your Python to connect to your database. So if you really want to use Python, or you want to use your data frame to do the analysis, right? So that is how you can do this from the terminal. So I'm going to close the terminal and show you how you can connect to this same database from your dbeaver. All right, so let me close this by saying /q, and I'm going to clear. So as you can see, so if you want to go out of the bash container, you can say exit. So and then we've exited out of the what, out of the container. So now let's see how we can connect to this same database using our dbeaver. All right, this is my dbeaver right here. I'm going to click on this connection button, and then I'm going to specify the kind of database I want to connect to, PostgreSQL. All right, so I'm going to provide my information. The host is localhost. My database is Olist underscore e-commerce. My user is Olist underscore user. My password is Olist underscore password. All right, remember, very important, the ports. Remember when we were creating our container earlier on, I told you that we are matching the port of our container to our host port. The container port is port where the container is running, you understand, but this host port, that is the port on which this particular app is going to run on your own system. So that means you have to set your own container on your local system to 5432. All right, that is very, very important. So I'll change this to 5432. Then you can test your connection, and if you have, so we have a successful connection, so that means we are good to go, and I'll click finish. And as you can see, I'm connected to the database. So I'm going to click on database. You can see my database, Olist ecommerce. You can see my schemas, so three schemas. So like we saw earlier on the terminal, so we have public, e-commerce, and so let's write a query to query information from any of these table. So I'm going to say create a new SQL script. All right, and I'm just going to write a simple select statement. So I'll say select all from, sorry for that, from, so you are going to give the schema, so that's e-commerce dot customers. So you can decide to limit your record, and I'm going to limit my record to, let's say, 50, and I end my query. So let's run this and see the results. All right, you can see that we have an information right here. So this transform data which you have dockerized, it's very easy for anybody to use this once you have created a container out of it. So which means I only just have to focus on the analysis. So I will leave the analysis to some other video which you are going to be seeing how I'm going to be analyzing this data set. So right now I just want to showcase to you how I was able to dockerize this particular transform data and making life easier for anybody who actually want to make use of this same data. Is a kind of data set that is important. I think every data analyst and data science should work on it because it's a very large data set which is similar to what you'll be seeing in the field or in real life situation when you start working on jobs. So these are the kind of data sets you should be looking at. So if you have idea or you have opinion or you think there's a way we can make this better, so kindly share that with me to also in the comment section, and I'll be willing to take a step on that. I hope you enjoy this and you love this, and I believe this has inspired you as well. For more information and inquiries on how you can get started into a data analyst field or data science or data engineer, or you just have any question for me, kindly reach out to me on any of the platform and I'll be glad to respond to you. All right, thank you very much. I'm excited sharing this with you. I hope to see you next time. Bye.